You now tuned in to the Gumptown Podcast. I'm your boy Doug B. We ain't got nothing to talk about, but we got something to talk about. Let's go. Good people. Welcome back to the Gumptown Podcast, episode 29. I'm your boy Doug B. If you tuned in to this podcast, thank you for your time and your attention. I really appreciate you giving this podcast a shot. Before we bring on today's guest, we got something to talk about, good people. Back for another segment of Support You on Sunday, all right? Today we're highlighting two businesses in the Gumptown area for a very important reason. Let's start with Sassy's store over there on the boulevard, right in front of the old Montgomery Mall. Y'all know where that's at. Let's come on down to Mulberry Street, right around the street from the Alabama State University, where the House of Greek resides. Both of these shops, they sell top-of-the-line, high-quality Greek apparel. That's important because in case you didn't know, I'm a member of Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated, by way of the Beta Upsilon chapter over at the Alabama State University. 14 years ago today, me and my 13 brothers from different mothers, we became alpha men. Shout out to the Philosophical 14, better known as TP2, year 14 for the 14. All right? That's all we got to talk about, good people. Shout out to House of Greek. Shout out to Sassy. Let's get on with today's show. Today's guest. He is the founder, owner, and creator of For the Culture app. I'm looking forward to this conversation, and I'm sure you all will be inspired by his story. Let's give a warm Gumptown round of applause for Teddy Phillips. Teddy P, how's it going, bro?
Doug, my man, how's it going? Nah, it's going good. Going good. How's everything with you?
All is well on my end. All is well. First things first, I want to thank you for taking time out of your schedule to chop it up with me for a few minutes. I really appreciate it.
Always, man. It's nothing, man. It's good connecting with hometown folk, you know?
Yes, sir. So before we talk about For the Culture app, let's talk about the man behind the app. What's Teddy P's story?
Yeah, military brat, born in Germany, grew up to a nurse mother, tech father, moved to Montgomery, Alabama, probably around like when I was like 3. Went through just different life stages. I started doing art when I was little, got into sports, and then just stay connected. My parents try to keep me busy and try to keep me out of trouble and try to keep me focused and positive minded. So I didn't fall into a lot of the pitfalls that they saw a lot of people fall into. So that was good. It ended up taking me to the University of Alabama, where I wanted to play football at first, but football didn't really work out. But just learning from Saban and how he had this like winning mindset in whatever you do, I was allowed to find technology and just the power of that, and how it was a growing field, growing industry, and it was a pretty good time to get in on the ground floor and try to see everything that this was going to spin up into. So I majored in MIS, and during my time at University of Alabama, I got exposed to doing iPad applications, and it was hot at the time. And we were like, okay, cool, we get an app. So I worked on apps for the Home Depot, and I worked on apps for Procter & Gamble as a part of the Capstone project. It's my senior project. And that exposed me into a whole different industry that I never knew of growing up. So it was super fun, super enlightening. From there, ended up working at HP first, and cutting my teeth at, just a tech company. And then now, that journey took me on to explore numerous possibilities and opportunities. So, I'm just really grateful for what that has allowed me to do.
Wow. What a great story. And back to that part when you went to Alabama and you wanted to play ball, but you instead of playing ball, you got exposed to Saban and that mindset and that mentality. And exposure is everything. You get around the right environment. It's amazing what happens when you change your environment. And hats off to your parents for keeping you engaged and keeping you out of the pitfalls as you spoke about earlier. No, that's a dope story, bro.
Nah, man, appreciate that.
Yes, sir. Let's dive right in. Let's talk about For the Culture app. What exactly is For the Culture app?
Oh, yeah, For the Culture is a charades-based game-based app that celebrates Black culture and Black pop culture. So just imagine someone has the game over their head or just the screen over their head, and you're telling them to guess, I don't know, um, maybe it's the first Greek letter organization found, right? So I'll say, 1906. I mean, the ice cold, whatever, and then say alpha alpha, right? And then you just go to the next one, which in the whatever's in the category, and you just try to get them to guess. So you have 60 seconds to guess, and you get your results at the end of the game, and then it goes on to the next player.
Nice, nice. For us, by us, man. I love it. And
Sure.
what's been the overall reception of the app since well, first let me back up. When did you create the app, and what's been the overall reception since the app came out?
Yeah, I created a game in 2016. So the story for that is I was over at a friend's house and we were just playing Taboo. I think we were just playing Taboo, and we were just going through the categories. And I was like, "Damn, man! Like we need some more Black games, right?"
Mm-hmm.
And then I got introduced to Heads Up, and I was like, "Heads Up is pretty dope, man." But we kept just playing like the hip hop category. So it goes back to my time at UA where I was working on iPad apps. I'm like, iPad apps aren't super difficult to make. What if I can make a simple game like this that celebrates Black culture? I just got to load up all the content. So I took that home and I started working on it in 2016, and I went through so many different iterations of what I wanted it to be. It was called Stuff Black People Know, things Black people like, and things like that. But just thinking about marketability, I think for the culture, said a lot about who the target audience was, and what we were actually celebrating, which is Black culture. So, so I solidified the name. I took it out to I had a very early prototype. And when I say very early, it was like super black. It was black and white. Like even the categories were black and white with just text above it. And that's how I was going to release it. Mm-hmm. I was just like, okay, cool. It's going to be minimalistic. People are just going to appreciate it for what it is. And then I went around. They were like, damn, is it? Oh, they were like, wow, is it finished? Mm-hmm. And I was like, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's finished. They were like, nah, we need some graphics and things like that. So just listening. And one key gem of advice when you're building a product, I like to use the lean startup methodology. And what that is you take a minimal viable product, which is like the least version of your idea to get feedback. Mm-hmm. So for me, it was basically having an app that played words in a randomized order and got people to guess. So that told me, okay, you need a timer. Okay, you need categories to separate everything. You need a score to keep, and you just keep like a cycle of feedback from your users to keep making the product better and better until it gets to a point where, okay, it's good enough to release and get more feedback, get traction, and allows the product to grow. Mm-hmm. So I did that. I took it to a Black in Tech Austin event. They loved it, and it really encouraged me to release it. So 2017, in the Apple Lounge in DC, I ended up releasing For the Culture. And the response was amazing. Like we were playing it, I grabbed everyone's phone and they downloaded it. So it was crazy just getting your app is now approved for the Apple App Store. It was incredible feeling just going through the journey of trying to figure everything out and releasing a product that people enjoy to this day. And since then, the critical reception has been amazing. We're like 4.8 stars on the App Store right now, and we are nice. And we're at over 1 million users. So all nice. Lifetime. So it was pretty good in over 103 countries across the world. So a cool piece of information about that. When we released it, it started blowing up in China faster than it was in the US. So China downloads were outpacing the US downloads at one point. And I think I owe that to my mom, because my mom gets on Twitter sometimes and she shouts out the app. So she was tweeting out the app, and then she had a friend that she knew through Twitter that was on China, and he reposted the app, and then it started getting downloads in China. So now shout out to my mom on that.
Hey, talk that talk, man. 4.8 stars, man. Hey, I love to hear it. Love to hear it, man. And glad the reception has been well. I've had a chance to download the app and play around with it. Play around with it. I really haven't delved into it, but from what the categories I did cover and go through, it's definitely a dope app. And hats off to you for stepping out there and making it happen. So let me transition right into what I like to talk about when I have entrepreneurs, creators like yourself on the platform. I like to cover three things: aha moment, action, and audacity. Your aha moment was when you were playing Taboo with your friend and you realized, hey, we needed to create something for us. You created the app in 2016, releasing it in 2017. So that covers the action portion. So it took you a year between idea and action. And that's dope because a lot of times we get paralyzed by fear and we set on an idea for years and years at a time. So you step right into it. It didn't take you a long time to from idea to actually creating it. So that leads right into my last portion, audacity. It takes courage to step out there to create something, not only to create something, but to put it out there to the world, to review and to, either praise it or talk crap about it. Who or what gave you the courage, the audacity to release the app?
Oh wow. Well, nah, that's a very philosophical question. I would say at the end of the day, it was, the people that I was making it for. But I also kind of attribute that back to myself. I was like, look, if no one else is gonna use this app, I'm gonna use this app, right? I'm gonna play
Right.
this app. So I was like, okay, I just kind of created it and I was building it for myself at first.
Mhm.
And I stumbled across a 50 Cent interview where he was, I mean, it's crazy. He was in a beef with Ja Rule. And I think Ja Rule said, oh, you know what? I made that album for myself, whatever. And then 50 Cent was like, nah, you make something to sell it. When you go into any business, you make something to sell. So if you make it for yourself, you might as well keep it up and you're the only person that has to listen to it. But if when you create something for the people, you got to create it for the people so the people can enjoy it. And that's what the lean startup kind of taught me. Is like when you're building a product that you want people to enjoy, you want people to like, make sure you give it to the people so the people can tell you what they like and what they dislike. And you keep going, don't ignore their feedback, and you keep building to that. So I can say it was myself at first, but at the same time, once I started building for people, um, then it became the people that gave me the confidence to tell me that it was good enough and I should release this to them and it worked. So no, shout out to the people. So I mean, this definitely couldn't be created without them. And just everyone that was giving feedback and everyone that continues to give feedbacks and continues to rate the app. So shout out to the users and the supporters.
Awesome. No, that's powerful. That's great, bro. That's powerful, man. So for the culture, it's out. It's on Apple. You can get it Android and Google Play. It's done some great things so far. It's gonna continue to do great things. So let's
Appreciate
talk
that,
about
man.
vision. Let's talk about what are your short term and long term goals for not only the app, but just in terms of you as a creative. Like, what are your short term and long term goals?
Yeah, absolutely not. I mean, short term, long term goals for the app. Short term is getting on more platforms. So it's only on Android and Apple right now.
Mhm.
But just trying to get it on Xbox and trying to get it on PlayStation and things like that. So people can just play it on their screens and get someone to turn around and just click through and they get the score that way. So that's in the works right now. Um, I got plans for the metaverse once that becomes a little bit stable, but putting the game out there, allowing it to be played. And that's probably in like 3 or 4 years. Long term, just turning it into a lifestyle brand. So just looking at anything in entertainment and we file trademarks in different areas for like events and as far as like digital and commercial goods. So just trying to figure out, where this place and how we can expand it into different more entities outside of just a gaming app. So working on that. As far as me as an entrepreneur, I got a new game that I'm working on that I've been neglecting. It's been produced called What the Zodiac. So that's out. It's a card game based on the zodiac signs. A shady game for the zodiac signs. That's the tagline for it. That I think is a great game. I just need to give it a little bit more attention. Entrepreneur, still working on art. Just finished a project with the MLS and the Barack Obama Foundation. Working on a metaverse project for a large company, well, a large tech company right now, and working on a social justice project around um, marijuana convictions disproportionately affecting the Black community. So trying to figure out a way to give back. We found a charity that we want, and super excited about announcing that project coming forward. But I don't know, just I mean, long story short, for just the entrepreneur aspect, just continuing to mentor people that's coming up behind me, and then continue to push myself and be consistent in the things that I'm doing right now, and trying to test myself and test the limits of the things that I can do. You know, I have an idea for a film project, and kind of like what you said, audacity of you know, what allowed us to get to the point where we don't sit on an idea and we take the action and we actually put it out. So, you know, just trying to work on that with myself and continue to grow. So growth is long term growth goal for me.
Yes, sir. I love it, man. And all of those short term and long term goals that you spoke of. Um, at the pace you're going, I know all of those things will come to fruition. So just keep
Appreciate
working,
that,
keep
man.
pressing forward. No
Thank you.
doubt, bro. So let's talk about. So let's on to the $1 million question. I started this platform because I wanted to shed light on the greatness that has come from Montgomery or through Montgomery, whether that be someone was here just for college or a significant period of their life.
Yeah.
You spent a significant part of your childhood, so you essentially a hometown hero. So what's one thing you learned growing up that you've been able to carry with you throughout your life as you transition over into entrepreneurship?
Yeah. One thing is, like, don't be afraid to ask questions.
Mhm.
And don't be afraid to reach out for help and things like that. More people are willing to help you than you know. Another thing is be careful who you surround yourself with. You know, there's a lot of my friends that, you know, are no longer here, or you know, are doing a lot of time behind bars right now. So and that comes down to the group that you stayed with, right? I mean, there was plenty of times I could have been in a bad situation. God just you know, used that time to teach me a lesson versus you know, making me actually super pay for it. So yeah, so definitely the people in your life, listen to them and try to stay focused and doing positive things, and think about long-term goals and think about long-term success, and don't always go for the short term. Sometimes the short term, like um we had a friend, he was like, nah man, forget college, I'm not going to college or anything like that. You know, I'm just gonna go out here and make money, right? And he came in, I think the charges and the Dodge Magnums were hot at the time, and he came in, he had a Dodge Magnum. We were like, man, it was crazy, and he had his own money and everything like that. I mean, it was pretty cool, and we were in college, you know, trying to make it. And but over time, you know, the Charger ended up or the Magnum. I think he had a Magnum at the time. Charger ended up getting run down. You know, we ended up getting jobs, and you know, the investment that we made into our education was allowed us to take us into different places instead of just like shutting off our education at a young age. So thinking about long term instead of short term allowed us to reap more benefits in the end. And I'm not saying that that's the perfect path for everyone, right?
Mhm.
Because everyone has different paths and lives. But you know, had we had done that same thing and just thought short term for our future, I don't know if I end up in the same place I'm in right now. So definitely look at the long term effect of your current decisions and see where
Mhm.
that's going to get you in the future. So that's that.
Awesome, man. That's powerful. That is some powerful stuff you just mentioned, man. And I have nothing to add to it. How can the people connect with you, Teddy P? What are your social media handles?
Yeah, Instagram is Juice Daniels and Stat the Artist. So it's two. Juice Daniels is more my personal page. I just post like personal stuff. Um, Stat the Artist is my art page. For the Culture app is For the Culture app page, and What the Zodiac is the new game with the Zodiac IG. So still getting that off.
Okay. Good stuff. And of course, I'll put all of this in the description of the episode. Hey, Teddy P, man, thanks again for chopping it up with me, and I really appreciate the conversation.
Doug B, thanks for having me, man. It's an
Yes,
honor,
sir.
pleasure.
Yes, sir. Good people, that concludes another dope episode of the Gumptown Podcast. We gone, but before we leave, remember, be blessed, be safe, but most importantly, have the audacity to be you. Gone. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate your time and your attention. Until next time.